empty bottle of Zima. So that's why they're threatened. But why do we find them so threatening? I thought we were a little hipper than that, or at least we were when we were their age. You must remember that then, as now, it remains the single most important function of a generation to irk the living shit out of the generation immediately preceding it. Screw the old squares, listen to a faster beat, wear a wider cuff, get a Beavis and Gingrich tattoo, change. Life is about change. More than that, life is like riding the bus. It requires change. The so-called Generation X has gotten a bad rap for being whiners. But people in their 20s have always been whiners. People in their 20s should be whiners. They are to whining what Pavarotti is to, Tommy. Okay, I don't know much about opera. The reason you whine is that you've just popped out of the cozy, beer-filled amniotic sac of academia. You haven't developed the prerequisite thick hide of the cynical, callous bastard yet, and your future seems bleaker than Ingmar Bergman listening to an acoustic set performed by Leonard Cohen. Add to the angst bouillabaisse the current prospects of an unpredictable economy, an environment that's choking to death on its own shit, and a sexual atmosphere that's about as warm, safe, and inviting as a Zagreb bunker. Christ, if I were in my 20s now, I'd be bitching so hard I'd make Beck sound like Tony Newley. Additionally, this generation of young adults is being forced to experience every cultish fumble of their coming of age, with the media doing a hushed, reverentially breathless play-by-play. It's kind of like if Dr. Frankenstein gave a running commentary of whatever the monster was doing all day. What's the result of all that scrutiny? It would appear mass-marketed nonconformity. The Real World on MTV holding auditions. Auditions. For the fucking real world. Everyone's so busy playing to the cameras that nobody's creating anything. That's why they use all of our stuff. The Brady Bunch, Platform Shoes, Tony Bennett. They suffer from generational performance anxiety because we baby boomers are constantly pounding our chests about our salad days. To hear us tell it, the late 60s and early 70s were a time when between orgies everybody got together and put on Woodstock. Then, between band breaks, we put a stop to the unjust war going on and brought a rogue chief executive officer to his knees, all while smoking the most incredible cheap herb in the history of the dilated planet. You know, they heard all about the free love of the 60s and 70s, but now it's the 90s. The balloon payment is due, and their generation has to pay the mortgage. Instead of casual sex, they have precautionary sex. Nothing ruins the mood during foreplay more than the recurring image of your 65-year-old homeroom teacher trying to stretch a condom over a cucumber. So believe me, I understand the origins of their discontent, and I empathize. Having said that, I'll be damned if I know what makes these kids tick. It appears their personal philosophy places a great deal of value on getting so many body piercings that you begin to look like you fell down a flight of stairs carrying a tackle box. Body piercing, a powerful, compelling visual statement that says, gee, in today's competitive job market, what can I do to make myself even more unemployable? Fashion is an interesting sword when being wielded by disaffected youth. Any guy that remembers being a teenager knows that many youthful uprisings take place in pants, so the practicality of wearing them so big you could smuggle a heart on the size of a beagle is not lost on me. Well, what else is most important to them? As far as stimulants go, both of our generations know the feeling of jonesing for product from Colombia. It's just that their product is coffee. And by the way, is it asking too much to be able to drink a cup of Joe in public without having to listen to some malcontent working out their issues next to me? It's bad enough that these coffee houses all seem to have purchased their furniture at the same Dresden fire sale, and when the guy who's been occupying a table for the entire time he's been growing his goatee finally gets up and clears away his journal and his clove cigarettes and his Tibetan worry beads, and you can finally sit down, you realize that the table is wobbling because one leg is so much shorter than all the others that the only thing that would balance it is a hardcover copy of Marcel Proust's Remembrance of Things Past, and you're finally enjoying your cafe whatever and your triple berry chocolate chip 6-grain scone when some chick with a buzz cut wearing cat's eye sunglasses and an orange and avocado green feather Joanne Worley socket Toomey dress and combat boots stands up in front and starts reading a poem she wrote about the first guy who ever felt her up. All right, so I just tipped my hand. Maybe I'm not as comfy with these kids as I let on. Maybe it's true. Maybe there's a gap between the baby boomers and...
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.